Hello everyone! Today we are going to be building a restaurant in The Sims 4, which is kind of crazy because I never usually build restaurants. I'm typically more of a home builder, but I wanted to challenge myself again. So today what we are doing is we're building a restaurant, and I'm going to start in Newcrest because it's just pretty open, and I think I pick a 30 by 20 lot or a 40 by 30 lot. I'm not quite sure, but it's decent enough. This restaurant, if I remember, is not that big. I will admit I built this a few months ago, and I'm only getting to editing and doing everything now, but that's okay. So I building the layout, and I kind of wanted like a, what do you call, like a gemstone restaurant almost. It looks like a, you know, in Candy Crush, those like orange candies. That's kind of what I was going for. And I decided I wanted the restaurant to be like an Italian theme, so I had like the red and the greens and the yellow. I almost said yellow. I meant white. The red and the greens and the white all going about here. And I'm doing that thing where you, it's a little tedious. You go underneath your house and you kind of just shade it, so that way it looks more like it's been there for a while. I realized it just said house, not build. That's my bad, but it's a little tedious, but it makes it look nicer. And I'm just picking restaurants so that way I make sure not to forget any of the like things that you need in a restaurant, because I want this to actually be playable for people to download. All my builds are under 0NTARIA or Ontaria, and I kind of wanted to add a porch for the exterior. I love when restaurants have like a little exterior seating moment. It's so cute. I don't know about anybody else, but I think it's pretty adorable. I'm picking a fence now, and I wanted something that kind of like could just vibe, and so I'm pretty sure I actually picked half walls later, just so that way I could have it match a little bit more, because the fences weren't really like jiving. Like they were looking very bland, and I wanted it to be, you'll see it in a little, yeah, I'm picking the half wall now. I wanted it to look like very cohesive. So I have the restaurant like a ready brick, and then I have like, it looks very Italian. It looks like an Italian restaurant. Yeah, so I'm just gonna, it's I love it. I actually really like this build. Okay, I need to start actually talking and not just whatever. Honestly, lately I've been getting into the trend of using, is it a trend? I don't know. Of using terrain paint more. I think it's just a little bit easier to work with and make like fluid shapes that you would see in the real world. Like flooring's nice, but you're very much so stuck to like squares or triangles, which is fine, but that's not how it works in like real life, you know? When you're trying to get a floor or a patio, usually you want it to wrap around something, and you just can't do that with the flooring that we have in the game. And I'm trying to roof this build, and I will admit this was the most annoying thing to roof. This video sped up quite a bit. It took so long to figure that out. I remember it was a pain in the butt, but it's okay because it ended up looking really great, and I'm actually kind of proud of myself. I tried to get some nice pillars in as well. I like pillars, actually. I think they're kind of underrated in the game. They're so good for like breaking stuff up. Oh my god. And then I tried to roof it, and I don't think I actually go with the roofing option. I tried, okay? I will just admit that I tried. It's really hard to roof that dang thing. I'm not sure. I'm gonna be honest. I think the interior of this restaurant is so cute. It reminds me of like a family-run restaurant almost. Like there's like the parents and the kids, and they're all working together. Again, you'll see my indecisiveness when picking a wallpaper, but I think it's such a nice family vibe. And then you can see I am definitely a loud color person for builds, but if you see me in like real life, I only ever wear neutrals. But I think loud colors are so bright and fun and funky. I really do like them. Which is why you'll probably tell if you go on the gallery and look at all my builds. I have a lot of colorful, I have some neutral builds as well, but most of them have some sort of funky color scheme going on, and if that's not your thing, that's completely fine. I'm trying to make an arch here because I think when I think of Italian restaurants, I think of arches. Like, I think of very beautiful architecture and everything. So I was like, okay, I want to incorporate some of that somewhere in this build. And so I was like, okay, an arch. Because I also couldn't figure out how to roof it, and it kind of solved the whole thing of not being able to roof that area. But I was trying to use the, what do you call them? Railings? I'm not sure. The ceiling railings. Well, we'll go with that. Ceiling railings. Oh, and what I do here. Okay. If you don't know, The Sims 4 released base game fairy lights, but you can only access them through going to the gallery. So, I think they were for a special event or something, like years and years ago. So that's what I was doing there. I went to the gallery and I searched up fairy lights because I wanted to find a way to add them into the build. I can't remember if I actually do or not. Because I couldn't get the right angle. I think I did. We'll see. But yeah, I The Sims 4 added the fairy lights into the game, and they're really cute actually. I kind of do like them. But it sucks that you can only really access them through the gallery. That's what I do sometimes when I want to build a house, and I'm like, well, this person's a farmer, so obviously I want a bunch of plants, but I can't actually get the plants because I'm not gonna go through the whole trouble of farming. I go into the gallery and I just search them, and then I grab them, and that's look, we listen and we don't judge, and that's definitely one of those moments for me. This is me messing around with everything. I think, yeah, I honestly don't think the fairy lights worked out, but I gave up trying to make my own arch, and I was looking for an arch, but it just didn't. None of them matched the vibe. This restaurant was very, like, going based off this vision I had in my head that I couldn't quite get on paper. And trust me about that area with the white on the siding. Just trust. It looks good in the final build, okay? Have faith. Have faith. So we are moving to the front, and again, this whole landscaping process was a bit of a trust the process, bro. It's cute, but it's like she looks a bit wonky as we're going through it, but like, believe me, she becomes cute. I think I was looking for some. What was I looking for here? Plants. I was looking for plants. This restaurant is also very plant and weed, like, well, not weed, but flowery heavy, because again, when I think of Italian, I think of arches, I think of a very extra, so obviously they'd have all the beautiful plants outside the restaurant. They have like rose bushes along the side. A little bit later you'll see. And I wanted to add a window there, and I remember having a little bit of an issue with what window I wanted. I'm very indecisive, as you can tell. So, trying to pick that window was a bit of a struggle, but I managed to find one that kind of matches the door. And I just slapped them together, so that way they look a little bit similar. Yeah, and so I go ahead and I paint the rest of the restaurant. And I'm trying to get a nice foundation at the roof, and I really like that one because I'll explain to you. It has that same green as the fence in the front. I think that green, the red, and the green, the dark red, and the white look so good together, in my opinion. You can tell me otherwise. I will listen, but I'm not gonna go back and fix it. You can fix it. I'm looking for this. Oh, this restaurant also has like a cow theme. I don't know why. I saw a cow bush and I thought, oh my god, it's so cute. I need to put it in. And so this place just has a bunch of cow stuff. Cow themery. Themery? I don't know. I think it works though. I think the mascot of if I had to picture this place, the mascot is like a cow. Because there's a restaurant like around where I am. That was crazy. There's a restaurant like around where I am that has like a cow for a mascot, and that's kind of how I picture it. But the pulling out the red carpet fence, like, that's crazy. I don't know why I did that. I don't know why I thought that would have been a good idea. Oh my goodness. So I'm just adding the waitress stand, and I couldn't figure out what to place it. I didn't know if I wanted it in the seating, like in the patio or in the front. I think I went with it in the front and like a cleaning thing in the patio. I'm not quite sure. But that patio was so cute. I'm really happy I decided to add it, even if the roofing was a bit of a mishap. I will say, when I build, I'm usually watching something as I'm going along, and I can't remember what. I think I was watching Fake Gamer Girl for this build. I loved her YouTube channel. I'm very sad that it's gone. I totally get it though. Like, fair to her. If you need a break, you need a break. Oh my goodness. Sorry. If you need a break, you need a break. That's perfectly, like, fine. But yeah, I think I was watching that during this time. Usually I'm watching something. Lately, as I think I mentioned before, I've been watching Taskmaster. It's such a good show. Oh my goodness. It's so silly. I love it. But yeah, I'm just furnishing the exterior, and I'm trying to find a way to place all these chairs where it's not super crowded, but also it looks kind of nice, because a patio should have some space, but I completely forgot that the inside of the restaurant would also have space, which is my bad. And yeah, I'm putting a waiter station here, so that way it kind of feels more like part of the restaurant and not just like a random area. I'm adding some exterior lighting here, so that way it looks a little bit nicer. And I think I said before, I really like the exterior of this restaurant. I think it's so fancy and cute. Just more lighting, so that way it doesn't look ugly fugly. Yeah, I turned it to night to check. I think restaurants are good, but I think they're hard to do, because it's hard to get it right, because there's not, like, you don't want it to be super cluttered, and that's my whole kind of thing about building. I like a little bit of clutter. And these rose bushes, oh my goodness, that's the opulent, like, Italian I was thinking of when I built this. I was like, oh my goodness, I need like a bush. I need flowers galore, bro. So that's what the rose bushes were for. I couldn't tell if I wanted to add more flowers or not, but I think it looked like too much, so I was like, okay, just roses, it's fine. It really pulled it together though. It made it look like it wasn't just like slapped on there, and it's actually a part of the restaurant. Oh, I scrolled past the cow, that mighty cow from Cottage Living. I'm just adding some more bushes. I can't. The exterior of this build took the most time. I think the interior took me like 2 seconds. It did not take that long at all. Trying the llama, trying the chicken, there goes the cow. That beautiful, glorious cow. Yeah, it really did not take long. I think the planning for it... Actually, I do remember the kitchen was a bit of a beast in itself, because the kitchen is in such a weird shape. It's hard to fit all that, like, industrial kitchen equipment, but I made it work, and it even has access to the back, which is very nice. So just gonna... Can't... I was trying to put, like, a built-in for the waiter table, but it looks fine like that. There's no point. Bringing some of that red back in. I was playing around with the idea of having, in a fancier restaurant, you have, like, an entryway, and then they take your coat, and then they, do what fancy people do. I was playing around with that idea, but it didn't need to happen. It looks good the way it does anyway. So I was just trying to find something to take up that space on that wall, because it looked very weird. It was weird to have just an entryway and then you're right in the seating area, but I got distracted again and added a fireplace, as one does. And I remember wanting to have, like, booths in this restaurant. But the Sims 4 booths are really hard to work with. I do think I got some in, but if they don't look that glorious, that's the reason. The booths in the Sims 4 are really difficult to even attempt. And so I'm starting to plan out just the entryway for the kitchen. I did forget about the bathroom, but it's okay. It's okay to forget about a bathroom. Not everyone needs their own bathroom. Come on. See how big that restaurant equipment is? It is very large. Like, there's not a lot of room in that. There's me trying to get the bathroom in. There's not a lot of room in that space anyway. But it's okay. Yeah, so I'm picking out a flooring. I do like that the flooring I chose. It just brings it all together. It makes it look nice. Makes it look professional, quote unquote. I think I remember in the kitchen there's some posters hanging on the wall, not over the flame of the grill, okay? I'm not that dumb, but they are over the sink, because I was like, okay, these people probably like do their own thing. They probably got some like tunes blaring in the kitchen, you know, they're listening to some fancy music and they're like just trying to pop out orders as fast as they can. Okay, and again, you can see that I kind of flutter around between both the kitchen and the front area. Again, I work in sections, as in I work on the exterior and then I work on the interior, but I do not work in sections of like, oh, I'm gonna do the kitchen now, I'm gonna do this now. My brain doesn't work that way. I get distracted very, very easily. Just why you saw me putting the waiter thing down like way before I was actually inside the restaurant, because I was just trying to get things done. And now we're putting in the booths, and this was what I had to talk about with the booths. They're so big. They are like huge. For like such a small table, that is a huge booth, you know? So it's really hard to fit it properly. But I was like, okay, we could have a mix of like booths along one wall and then we'll have like tables in another, just so that way I can feel like I still have my diner vibes and whatever, but it's a little nicer. And then I had some more tables, and I'm just again, attempting with the booths is really hard. I think they're cute, but it's very hard to work them into the build properly. Yeah, so I had some tables, I had some booths. I really want this restaurant, as I said before, to feel like home. Like it's run by people who kind of put their whole body into it. They're like, this is the restaurant, this is where we, you know, this is how I feed my family. That's the whole vibe of like what this place is. So it looks fancy. It doesn't look fancy. It looks nice, but it's still like home run, you know? It's still run by a family. I think that's why I like building, because you can come up with these ideas for families and stuff in your head and portray them without having to build a sim and cast, because I hate cast. Like, I will be so honest. I will be the first to tell you that create a sim is so annoying, and it's not it's just not a creative outlet for me. But building is, and you can express that same like thought of like, oh, okay, this is a family, this person's maybe a bit stressed, or this person's having a good time, and they're a very well person. They like well as in like they take care of their mind and their they focus on wellness, like they like yoga and everything. You can portray that through building, which I really enjoy. It's probably one of my favorite parts about building. I'm trying to add in the sign, and I realize, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do one of my famous gallery walls. Are you ready? Here you go. I have said before, doing gallery walls is so calming. It's so nice because it fills up so much space, and yet it's still visually interesting, and you're not just slapping on a giant, like, I don't know, sun or something. And I thought these ribbons would be for like, maybe they have like the best food in the city or whatever. I don't know. The cow comes back as well. I wanted to add another window in, but I couldn't with the way the sign was, and I'm not sure I went back to add that other window in anyway. It just looks nicer. Having the windows in the front just looks nicer. It's cleaner, you know. They probably don't have to clean the windows as much anyway. just tidying up the front with the bushes, and then we will go back to finish the exterior a little bit because I wanted to add in like the back door for the restaurant, like an entrance and some parking. But I didn't want it to look too furnished or finished for the parking lot, so that's why it's kind of only paved a certain way and then it turns into gravelly rock. And I did have to move around the kitchen a little bit just so that way I would get the door to actually fit in, but it's fine. It was embarrassing that I accidentally changed the terrain paint for the patio though. That hurt my soul a little bit. I moved the paintings around, posters, same diff. Yeah. And so this is just wrapping up some final decorations, adding in some cars, and I think that's about it. Oh, and I just changed it so that way, when you load it in, it's Italian restaurant and you've got the law challenges and everything, so it's basically ready to go once you load it in. And now that's finally it.